So how are you all doing this morning? And good thing about these reading glasses, I can see here, but I can't see you guys well. So yeah, I feel so comfortable. So as Mr. Weatherall already mentioned, I believe also that you had a happy, beautiful, and relaxing Thanksgiving. Did you? Okay. So today's sermon title is Ripple Effect of God's Love. And first, I'd like to share a part of Two Fathers' prayer, which was offered on January 11th, 1959. O Father, please have compassion for all the people living on the earth. We desperately long to be sons and daughters of heaven, who are able to harmonize and move with your heart through their minds and bodies. When you move, Father. Therefore, O Father, if our minds are not able to move with your mind, and if there are bodies not resembling the original external form, that cannot become bodies of your external form, which can move with your heart, we earnestly hope and desire that you will allow those bodies to become bodies that are not inadequate to appear as bodies of beauty, that are able to have the original external form through having been subjugated. It's been less than a week since those 4 UPA missionaries left from Connecticut. I remember vividly the first Sunday when I met them at the service. They introduced themselves with short speeches, a song, and dance. Did you know that, do you remember what they were wearing? Like kind of dark navy, suit. They go to their campus in them and study in them all day long. That's their uniform for every day. So it's kind of standard that True Mother really want them to have, I guess. That's the expression of their standard. Well, I feel a little funny because during these 3 months, I was seeing them 3 to 4 times a week. They visited my Japanese classes at Bridgeport Hope School twice a week to learn how to teach Japanese, because for their witnessing and activities, they invited their guests to their Japanese lessons. I saw them on Sundays, and I invited them for dinner about once a week. So they were very amazed and glad that there are more than 20 or maybe 30 or more families and individuals invited them for lunches and dinners. And many of us joined their witnessing and other activities. They told me that they had never imagined that their internship in Connecticut was going to be this rich and meaningful. They shared their experiences with me during these 3 months occasionally, and here are some instances. They visited Housatonic Community College once, and only once, but they met a wonderful young man. And he came to the programs, and not only that, but he also brought his cousins and friends, and some of them signed up for the membership. Also, at some point, missionaries noticed that their witnessing activities were not going so well. So they decided to spend their time for some other activities. But after all, what they found was their existing guests not coming to their programs. Through this experience, they learned that even though they have difficulty bringing results from time to time, it is important to go out and spend time on witnessing. They truly enjoyed listening to our testimonies. However, I know that it was us also who received many blessings by having them for these 3 months. Why did all of us support the missionaries? It was because we are a one big family under Heavenly Parent. For older members, they were like our children and or grandchildren. And for same age group, they were their friends. And for the younger children, they were their older brothers and sisters. Our support was not for any reason. It was from our heart, 심정. The 심정 belongs to the core of our existence. It cannot be explained by reason. 심정 is something like, I can't help doing something to others. None of us could support the missionaries out of our sense of duty and mission. Some of us, including me, and I'm not going to mention any names. I haven't been mentioning any more instances and names because it's not fair if I don't mention all of yours. So I'm not going to say any names. But again, some of us, including me, are not young anymore and physically limited. But still, we wanted to do something for them more than as much as we could. So those missionaries felt our heart for sure and worked at their best till the end. I know, and they shared difficulties and amongst them, but I'm not going to say any examples or instances because it's going to be too long. Once I start, it's going to be about 1 hour. So I'm not going to start. So our Heavenly Parent are so omnipotent and omniscient that what He intends always are not toward only one person or small group of people, but for everyone who encounters them like a ripple effect. This ripple effect is not only 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional, but 4-dimensional, which includes entire universe, Chanju. And to figure out what He intends to us is our responsibility. Growing by what He gives us is our responsibility. Thank you. And I'd like to conclude, you don't need to clap. Well, it's going to be a little more. And you can clap toward the bands, maybe. I'd like to conclude this sermon with this music video, I Am Thankful. So if you like, please stand up and sing along.
I'm thankful for all of you. Thank you, my family. Okay, please be seated. I wanted to just share a little experience that really touched our hearts last night. Has anybody heard of Dietrich Bonhoeffer? Okay, who's seen the movie? Just came out. New movie called Bonhoeffer. Okay, this is your mission. Before the end of the year, you have to go and see Bonhoeffer. This incredible man. I didn't know so much about him, but Bonhoeffer was a Lutheran pastor and he lived through he was born in Poland actually, and then he lived through the German rise of the Nazi party, and he opposed very strongly the Nazis as they were coming to power. And he actually came to America, and he lived in Harlem for a while. I didn't know that. And he was very involved with the African American churches in Harlem, and he learned how to sing and praise God. Very un-Lutheran, and he took that back to Germany and tried to get people to sing, you know. I think that was quite a challenge. It's kind of like sometimes us here in the band trying to get people to get involved. I feel for the guy, okay. So, but he was also a spy. He worked for British intelligence to give information, and he was actually involved with a plot to assassinate Hitler. And at the end of his life, he was captured by the Gestapo and imprisoned. And about 3 weeks before the war ended, he was actually killed by the Gestapo. He was, indicted in this plot and was killed by the Germans. But through it all, he had an incredible faith and an incredible love for God. And that's what really comes through in this movie. So my wife and I booked our tickets, 2 months ago to go and see this. We're on a kind of mailing list for Angel Studios. Does anybody know Angel Studios? They make a lot of great movies. So we booked our tickets 2 months ago, so we got the best seats in the house, right in the center. We come into the theater, and somebody's sitting in our seats. Look, what? So we go over, and we politely ask them to move. But the entire theater was filled with these young Indian students, from India. And I was like, what? Where did they come from? And they're all talking to each other and everything. And we're like, how come? So, they were milling around and everything. And then we watched the movie, and it was deeply moving. And then towards the end, somebody gets up and says, we're going to take a photo outside, right? And then my wife starts talking to the person next to them. And where are you all from? So it turns out that they're from a church called the Redeemer Church of Connecticut, which is based in Connecticut. Bruce, do you know them? They're just down the road from you. That's right. So we actually met the pastor, and the pastor came over and talked to us, and we shared phone numbers, and then we went outside into the hallway, and there must have been like 60 of them, all young kids, and he said most of those kids are actually from the University of Bridgeport here. And so we met a couple of them, and we exchanged phone numbers. And then I texted the photos that we took to the pastor, and he said, I want you to come to our church and give a sermon.